Good evening and welcome to yet another session of Tieke Community. Yet again, we have a very interesting guest who is here to share about his thoughts from his life. Before we go on to talk to him, I would like to just welcome everyone here, school leaders, uh, teachers, students. Thank you for joining in. And if there are any parents and others, welcome. Thank you for joining in. Tieke Community is a fully unique character building program for schools. We have reached out to more than 175 schools online with a mission to nurture students' character. We've also nurtured 10,000 plus students in classrooms, in schools, using our engaging content and our life coaches. In this session, we will be talking to a very good friend and a very senior colleague when I was in my previous company, Ashrit Pattanaik, who originally hails from Orissa, but moved into Tamil Nadu, comfortably settled in Tamil Nadu, who speaks very good Tamil as well. And he's also the vice president and business head of a Tamil Nadu-based company called CavinKare, which many of us know for the product that they give us. CavinKare is a wonderful company. Ashrit is a vice president and the business head of CavinKare. It's very nice to have Ashrit with us. He's got a story, and the theme in which he would like to share our stories with students this evening is how to nurture essential habits for life. From his life, he's going to share some of the snippets and experiences and highlight the essential habits that are very critical for an effective living. Ashrit, I'm not going to take much of your time. It's over to you. Please share your thoughts and thank you once again for joining us. Over to you, Ashrit.
Thank you so much, Harris, and I welcome all your viewers of the Tieke community. I think Tieke community is going very strong, and it's a privilege to be joining all of you and all the students, the parents, and everybody. It's really I was looking forward to this meeting for the last couple of days from the time we have spoken, and so thanks for the opportunity to begin with. I think though I will cover briefly about my story, but I think what I would like to talk about today to all your viewers is about what are the essential habits that I think defines one's life, and to be really successful, or to be at least to be able to face the challenges that life poses. What are the kind of habits that we should really look at? So quickly about me, I think as Harris has already given a big introduction, but I think I see myself as somebody, who was born in a very small place like Rajgangpur in Orissa. And there my journey started, in a government school in Rajgangpur. And I did probably the first 8-10 years of my schooling in a very small school called Rashtriya Vidyalaya. And I think I picked up my initial lessons thanks to all the teachers there. I mean, I owe a lot of my current, whatever people appreciate me for, whether my honesty or the way I look at life. I think the initial days, I think, defined the entire thing, and I really thank my teachers for that. I was a good student, thankfully. I was a good student initially. At least for the first 9 years, I was almost topping the schools. Then we had a board exam where I was also a state rank holder. I think my rank was about 80, 85 types. So life was all moving well, till I hit college. And that's when some amount of reality check started creeping in, saying that it's not all rosy out there, and you start meeting a lot of good students, people who are very, very strong in their domain and that's when I picked up a liking for science, and I picked up science as a stream. I used to love reading biology, physics and chemistry also used to be my favorite subjects. So I thought, medical is something I would like to take up, and in that thing, that everybody was also going in. All my friends were also joining, coaching centers for medical, and somehow I also joined this thing. And after a full year hard work, and those days Orissa used to have about 126 medical seats. And I remember when the results came out, my rank was about 236. So I was offered a dental seat. I think that is that is what the main setback, the first setback on my life, started coming in. I think I always look at that event as something that is a defining moment in my life. Is when you're a good student, you suddenly meet a setback in your life that you planned something for yourself, that yeah, I'll become a doctor, but then suddenly it's not happening, and how do you really come out of it? And that's when I started becoming a little proactive about my career. I decided what are my options. I sat through, looked at options, and the next thing that excited me is this entire corporate world that I wanted to come into. I looked around. My father was working for OCL Limited, so I looked at these corporate bosses, the CEOs, the CFOs, and I said, I want to be like them. And then I planned my way, and there was a lot of prioritization. I did quickly got into commerce. you know but one thing was very sure, that I never looked back. I thought this setback is only a learning, and one cannot think about it too much, and keep moving in life. I think life has a lot more to offer, and quickly moved into commerce, applied for CAT, got into ITM Chennai. And that's when the second reality check in life came, when I landed in Chennai. New place, no idea about the language, new culture, a very extremely tough curriculum, no time in MBA to really relax. And you have, everything from food habits to filter coffee, everything was different. Life has kind of turned 360-degree for me. But that's when I think I've started liking it. That's when I thought, this is something which is not my comfort zone, which is not in my state, my town, my food, my kind of studies. And that's when you challenge yourself. You really challenge yourself to be your best version. And I think that's what Chennai brought about. And that's why I love Chennai so much. Chennai has taught me so many hard lessons in a very nicer way, I would say. And I picked up 2 years of hard work, as to go almost company to company, door to door, for summer projects, part-time projects. I remember I was seriously rejected by CavinKare, for not even, they felt I don't even know the language properly, and I will not even fit into the role that they're looking at for a project training. And I think that's the thing that kind of urged me to really do well. I landed in my first job through a campus placement in Blue Dart. Blue Dart was a great organization. It was a learning organizations, and that's when I started picking the language. And I realized that I had to embrace the culture of the place to do well, to go along with the people, to be able to collaborate with them. I need to learn the language initially, and and then the third thing happened to me when I joined Airtel in 2005. It was a turnaround of its sorts, but it didn't happen on its own. I planned for it. When I was working for Blue Dart, I was actually thinking, how can I get to the best industry in the business, the industry that can go faster? So at some amount of planning in life always helps. I was kind of ensuring that I get into the right industry, the right company, and Airtel happened. And initial days were tough. I mean, Harris knows how Airtel operates. It's a mind-boggling kind of tenure that everybody has there. It's a fast-paced company. You're always on the move, always on the go, and it's a cutthroat competition. So you need to be really good to be able to sustain for 10, 12 years. I had my setbacks, but one thing was constant for me in Airtel, that whenever I have gone into my comfort zone, I always stepped out. So when I was doing very well in corporate sales, I decided that I will move out and go into B2C sales, go into rural sales, understand rural markets of Tamil Nadu, understand how villages work, how their economics is working, how micro markets are working. And when I started doing well in that, I decided, after about 4 or 5 years, I decided I will shift base. I will move out of Tamil Nadu, see how North is performing. I went to MP, in a very small place like Ratlam. I didn't want to go to Indore. I wanted to go to a small place where I can really explore the real rural India of North India. Went to Vijayawada, learned another language, Telugu. I think what I have learned in that process is, you have to constantly challenge yourself if you want to really reinvent and be a better version. There is no other shortcuts that you can become a better version without challenging yourself, staying in the comfort zone for long. And that's when everything was going well. I was a general manager in Airtel, and at a very young age of 32, 33, I realized that this is not exciting anymore. And though telecom was still doing well, 4G was happening all over the place, I thought, let me challenge something that will take me to a new level. And that's when I took over this international business head role. It was a startup of sorts under CK Ranganathan, the founder chairman of CavinKare. And CKR had an option saying that, why don't you move into this vertical and build it from scratch? And that's when I got a first-hand experience of how to run a P&L for a startup. And that's when I think a lot of doubts in my mind got answered, and a lot of comfort zone in me that I know it all. I know most of the Indian markets. I can handle the pressure. I think went out of the window because the markets were new, the challenges were new, and that's when it moved. Again, after 2-3 years, when everything settled down, I was, pandemic is about to strike. I decided to take one more jump. I said, in this company, let me take one more. So we had a professional care division, which was, just about breaking even. And, I took that over and I'm looking at a challenge. So overall, I think I always feel that to do well in one's career or in studies, one has to constantly challenge oneself out of the comfort zone. That's the only way life will teach you, if there is something that you want to learn out of life. And the real skills, I think you can gather during this journey, and that will really make you a better individual, a better leader, and definitely a better human being. There's no other shortcut to learn the real lessons of life that way. So Harris, I think if I have to sum up, I would say there are, in my view, there are only 10 golden skills or life skills that one has to really look at. If I have the time, I can just quickly take the students through those 10 learnings that I have. Can I go ahead? Yeah. So I think just to link back to whatever my small learning in my 21 years that I had, I think the first one, which is very critical, whether it is in school or in corporate life or any other life, is to be able to be proactive. One has to be really proactive. One has to really evaluate all options, see how things are moving, look around, what's in store. And the difficult part about being proactive is when we take a decision, we typically don't take responsibilities. Every decision comes with own set of responsibilities. Your action, your attitude, your mood, whatever you decide finally, you need to back it up. You need to really take that responsibility. And let's say when I took a decision to move into commerce and give up my dream of being a doctor, it was a step in right direction, but it was, I think, ahead of time, and I was not ready for it at the beginning. But then when I took that decision, I had to back it up. I had to back it up with all the hard work that I can do. The second skill that I think everybody should have is to be able to put the right goals at the right time. See, goals has to be dynamic. Goals cannot be a fixed goal, that you fix for yourself and keep moving towards that. I think that is, though we've been told in the earlier days that you have to have one goal and keep moving towards it. But I think goals have to be dynamic. One has to really start working towards that. And I have a very different perspective about goals. I don't believe in having practical goals. I believe in having something like a BHAG, which is a big, hairy, audacious goals. So you need to have goals that are audacious in nature. And the studies say audacious goals actually push human beings more than practical goals. So if you have an audacious goal, the chances that you will make it big are very high. The chances that you will crack them, because it will really excite your soul so much that you will really go after that goal. And why it's important to have goal in everything, be it personal. If you want to get fit, you need to have a goal. If you really want to study well, get into a particular a stream, science or engineering, it's need to have it gives you clarity. It gives you clarity. You can judge your speed, velocity, whether you're moving towards that at the right speed at the right time. I think that's very important. That's number two. Third thing, what I think, and I've seen Harris doing very well, is prioritize. I think whenever you hit a day, and you can do it probably every day. You can prioritize your day. You can prioritize your month. You can prioritize your year, you can prioritize your career, what you want to achieve. You want to prioritize your personal life, you want to get married, you want to have kids, you want to have anything. I think having a number to that, having a clear priority makes life simpler. I don't think so beyond that it does anything, but it makes life simpler. It gives us a very clear way forward, saying that this is what we want to do. The third thing that I've learned from my organization, Airtel, the earlier organization, is to the power of collaboration, the power of synergy. I mean, human beings alone are nothing. So if you are a student alone and you're trying to make most, you are nothing. When you collaborate with a teacher, with few more students, or you collaborate in office with a few more colleagues, I think that's when the real power of your intellect, your energies really explode. And that's when many things happen. That's when big goals are achieved. So I think it's extremely important to synergize. And how do you synergize? It's a very simple principle. No human beings can synergize if they don't look at a win-win. So I think it's very important to look at a win-win in every situation, even in a personal life. Let's say you want to get something out of your brother, or you want to get something from a sibling, or if you want to get something done from, let's say I have to approach Harris for something, I have to look at what Harris can get out of it, why he should partner me in this, and help me out. So I think win-win is extremely critical. Fifth thing, which I feel many of us fail, and I was actually a major failure in this for almost 16-17 years of my career, was listening to answer. I think one should always cultivate a habit of listening to understand. Many of us, when we listen somebody, we immediately get into a mode of answering. Say, oh, I want to answer you. Okay, you're asking this is the answer for it, or this is what I feel. But typically when we don't listen to understand, we don't empathize with that person. And that's when our answers are either shortcuts or not to the point, or does not satisfy the other person. The easiest way to understand, synergize with the person, or come to one understanding, or to be able to give a solution in any walks of life. And again, I can relate it to my study life. I can relate it to my corporate life. I have to accept, Harris, that I was very bad at it. When I started, I was very bad at it. I was hardly listening to people. I was always trying to give my justification, my side of the story. But I think what I realized over the last few years is it's extremely important to empathize with somebody, and also understand, to just listen, to just understand what the person is saying. I think that's very important. The sixth thing is, I think, extremely relevant for students, for young corporates, for any entrepreneur, is the art of continuous learning. I was told when I was in school that you have to learn for 20 years and earn for 60 years. I think that is a passive. You have to learn for as long as you live, just to be relevant in the society that you live in, the corporate that you work for, the school that you study, because the skills have changed. I mean, I'll give a small example. When we started, when we closed our MBA, I think we knew marketing. We thought we knew marketing. We know the 4 Ps. We know the customer accounting. We know everything. By that time, we thought we are ready and we're going to be rocking in the corporate life. By the time we landed, 2010, the customer dynamics changed. The entire way of targeting the customer, whether it is direct, indirect, all changed. Come 2013, e-commerce hit. Again, marketing changed. It took a digital marketing step. Today we are looking at a next level of AI in sales, AI in customer accounting, AI in customer acquisition. So I don't know when this learning is going to stay. So I think it's easy to say that one has to continuously learn new habits, new skills. I think that habit of learning, reading, and I also, to be honest, I also picked it up in the last 6-7 years. But definitely I feel if one has to be successful throughout one's lifespan, one has to continuously learn. Otherwise, there are chances that one will get irrelevant in the society, in the company, in the workspace that you do. So that's important. The seventh thing is what I picked up from my founding chairman of CavinKare is time management. I think this is a very underrated kind of a habit. Though everybody knows it's important, nobody does it scientifically. So I would like to give a very small, a tip here. So how to do a very easy time management. I picked it up in 2020, but I think from 2020, the way I'm organized in a day has kind of taken a 360-degree turn. So I think all that one has to do is just write down all your activities that you do in a day, whether you go to school, you go to college, you go to any office, you have a business. You just write down everything and just categorize into daily mundane routines that is required for you, that is important for you, important routines you can call it, which is important for you to run your show, your business, your work. Then significant, which are significantly can give you growth, can take you towards new milestones, can take you towards your next year goals, and categorize them. And then there are transformational bets. Then those things, let's say you are a little fat, you have weight, and you want to really transform into somebody fit, and take that bet. And depending on how aggressive you are about life, what you want to achieve, you then allocate the time and take your 8 hours and fix and see where you are. Typically, if you are doing too much of routine, your pace of growth will be slow. At the same time, if you do too much of transformational bet, then your today will be at jeopardy. So you will not be able to perform well in today's this thing. So you will have to really have a nice balance, ideally a 50, 30, 20 kind of a balance you have to find out, and actually split your day scientifically. What happens through that is you take charge of your time, and other people cannot really take your time away. And you hold responsibility for the time, and you use it, kind of this thing. I think these are the 7 big rules. I have 3 quick ones to tell you, which are more of philosophies of life. I would say, are we on time, Harris, or are we just off? I will try to quickly finish it off. So I think you have anyway heard about from your school teachers and everybody. I think most important is honesty and integrity. At the end of the day, what matters is, when nobody is watching, how you are able to keep your integrity and honesty going. Nothing else in life can pay the way these two, can pay for you. I mean, it may not show on a month-on-month, it cannot show on an Excel sheet or on a PowerPoint presentation or on a report card. But when somebody follows it for a long period of time, I have seen my leaders, who have demonstrated it over a long period of time. Harris knows a lot of our leaders, and they have kind of become strong human beings, leaders, in their life. The second thing is perseverance. Anything in life, there are no replacement of perseverance. One has to persevere in whatever you do. I mean, I remember when Harris started his journey. I mean, he persevered with it. Many people start, they leave it, they leave their passion. When I started my journey, in Chennai of working, I had the same choice. Should I quit and go? Should I keep a little more, push it out, go through that grind? I think it always paid to have that perseverance. The last one is, there are no shortcuts in life. There are no shortcuts. And when there are no shortcuts, you need to always be ready to put in that extra bit of hard work. And if you're not ready to put in hard work in any field, that could be a temporary success, but there'll never be a permanent success. So I always feel that one has to look at life from that lens, that it will anyway put challenges at you. If you are ready to put in that extra bit, there's always a way out, and you always stay ahead of the curve. So I think friends, I think if I have to just sum it up, my entire learning of my life, I think these are the 10 golden rules that I always follow, and I always look forward to, these skills, and I'm still trying to be better at them. And most of them, what I told you, I may not be good at them, but I have recognized that they will help me become a better version of myself.
Ashrit, thank you very much. You took a little bit of time, but it was good to allow you take the time and share some of the points that are very, very important. One of the things that commonly the guests here have been saying is continuous learning. And you also stressed upon it. You are the 4th person in a row to talk about continuous learning. Ashrit, and I also have to ask, how good is your Tamil now? You are very good at it. Nalla Tamil பேசுவீங்க இல்லையா?
நல்ல தமிழ் பேசுறேன். தமிழ்ல தான் எல்லாத்தையும் பண்றேன் நானு. ஆமா, அது actually the natural எனக்கு இப்போ முன்னாடி மாதிரி
Tamil has become a natural language இல்லையா? Ashrit, when you started off from Orissa, you were also telling me how you looked at your father's bosses or his senior colleagues in the office. At the senior position, how they were, taking their job and doing things, and how it fascinated you. And you said that there was one of the reasons why I went after a corporate life in Sonning. Yeah. Apart from this sort of a dream, was there anything that made you think that from a small town, I have to jump into a large, see, you told your story, definitely, but that one thing which challenged you to move from a small town to a large city, or to look at life, I do, it is not that all the time somebody has to move from a small town to a large city, but open up your thinking to a large dream, to something that you are today not able to achieve, but you will achieve one day. What was one thing in your life, Ashrit?
So I'll tell you when, and I was in a ultra small town. It was a 2 kilometer long town. Okay,
Okay.
that was only 2 kilometer. I think
Right.
that had a lot of limitations at that point of time in India. Though India has grown today and
Right.
it's placed to
Right.
be, it had its own limitations. We had a lot of challenges in terms of even getting the right materials to read. Okay,
Right.
not getting the, I remember, Sunday Times from Calcutta used to come one day later. So, so all those challenges were there, but I think I was always very confident about myself that I had dreams in my eyes, being a small town boy. And it's, as you rightly said, it is nothing called small town or big town. Finally,
Yes.
you have a goal in your mind that you want to
Yes.
achieve something which probably you want, at that point of time, I also had a dream that, and I want to give something to my parents. I want to do something for my family, and obviously as any small kid will do. And that one thing spurred me saying that, I need to keep moving. And Chennai was one choice that I took, saying that this, I don't know for what reason, but I somehow picked up Chennai. And it was a plan. Again, it was planned well in advance that I will either go to Chennai or Bangalore, down south, and try to explore my skills that I have. Because obviously opportunities are there. So one has to come. I have to be very honest here that opportunities today in Chennai or Bangalore is far higher than any other city. So
can I also say that you move out of your comfort zone?
That was அது ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து என்னோட மனசுல இருந்துச்சு. ஏர்டெல்ல கூட நீங்க பார்த்திருப்பீங்க ஹாரிஸ். நான் அது கான்ஸ்டன்ட்டா மெயின்டைன் பண்ணிருந்தேன். When corporate sales,
you were in different places.
Yes, corporate sales when I was leading, I was actually could have made a better career for myself. I thought this is the time to move out, and always move out when you are on the high rather than, when you are not at a good position. And I've always challenged myself. And whenever I feel in a role that I've achieved something, that's when your comfort zone actually catches you from all ends. And that's when you need to free yourself. The moment you free, your next level is ready. It's we who stick on to our own levels and we stay there, keep our learnings under check.
Actually, another thing about you is your energy level. I always used to see in Airtel, you used to wear, you were used to running around, getting things done, whatever the job is. You were very active and you were running around and getting things done. Where do you pick that energy level from? Where you were very active?
It's my father. It's my father. I picked up from early from him only. I think he was very active. And I think more than that, Harris, also, you have to love what you do. If you love even your 9 to 5, if you love it, if that is what is leading to something. And today money is not everything, but whatever you earn then finally takes you to something else. But I always believe that if you like what you're doing and you want to excel in it, you have a very clear determination that I will excel in whatever I do, then I think that will push you out of your bed, out of your out every day. And that's what I enjoy. I still enjoy doing sales, doing those long reviews
and running around, right? One important point from your answer I want to make to the students, whoever is listening here, is that there's a lot of valuable traits we pick up from our parents. Often today we see in schools, when we interact with students, they don't value their parents, they don't value their family. They think the parents are not good enough. And media is one such thing that tells kids that there are so many big things happening outside, which make them think that the parents are not good enough, right? But parents are good enough. We pick up a lot of traits from them, and those traits, even today, you are a vice president of a company, a large company, and you go back and recognize that trait because you picked it up from your father,
Harris,
right?
To sum up, that thing about parents, I think whether somebody accepts or not, 90% of what we are, our value systems, our energy levels, the way we behave with people, the way we treat situations, are either we picked up from a mother or a father.
Right.
Because that's what initially, when you in your initial days, you look up to those two people. You don't look
Right.
up to a vice president of a company. You don't look up to a
Exactly.
You look at your father, your mother, and I think,
Right.
I think that's where Indians are also very ahead.
Yeah.
Given
Yes.
our social structures,
Yes.
it allows us
Yes.
to interact with our parents that much more and
Yes.
to be able to learn from them. It's very
Yes.
critical.
Yeah, so I would like to request all the students who are watching and whoever would watch that we should recognize our parents, the traits that we pick up from them, and see how to put that to good use. Because people who have grown up really in their life say that they picked up the trait from their parent, father or mother, and they put it to good use. And today they are, however good they are in their respective job or in whatever they do. So it's very important that we recognize. So last question, I don't have much time, but I still wouldn't miss asking. CavinKare and a lot of things we see about CavinKare. What do you do? Just 1 minute, if you tell us about what is happening in CavinKare and what do you do there?
So CavinKare, first of all, I think all of you know that it is being founded by the son of the soil, Mr. Tieke Ranganathan. Okay, he's from Kadalur.
Yeah.
He was, I think his story itself, if all of you go and read, it is a inspirational story in itself. So it has started, it is the entire sachet revolution in India. So the entire sachets. So he believes in a concept that whatever a rich man can have, a poor man should also have. So everything that has a large pack in CavinKare also has a small pack at 50
Small
paisa,
packs.
at 1 rupee. So CavinKare is into multiple things, Harris. It is into cosmetics, personal care like Nile, Chic, Mira, many of those personal care products. Then we have our beverages called Kevin's, which is very famous among the kids.
Curd.
Curd, the milk. Then we have our snacks, garden snacks. We have Ruchi pickles.
Yes.
And then what I do, the salon range. Basically, we have green drinks salons, and then we have a salon range called Raga and Crony. And I handle the entire salon range for Pan India. I handle the Pan India operation for the salon range, which is the products for the salons that you go and use them.
So if anybody wants to look good, Ashrit is the man who can get it done. Thank you, Ashrit, for your time, your valuable inputs, and the way you talked about your life and identified those 7 habits and 3 points also, that you talked about: integrity, not taking shortcuts, perseverance, right? All of that. Thank you very much for joining in. To everyone here, if you have not subscribed to our channel, my request is to do that. So that when we bring in guests like Ashrit in the future, you would definitely pick up a lot of things. My request is that you would subscribe to our channel. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you all soon. Have a very good evening and a great weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris. Thank you, everybody.